Welcome to Mary's Ponder of the Day. So, my ponder today is about, I saw a movie. First of all, I'm just obsessed with Tilda Swinton. So I went to see 3,000 Years of Longing. And great movie. I really, really enjoyed it. And I saw it on the big screen, of course, and visually it's just gorgeous and very well acted. But it got me thinking afterwards. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about it for a whole week now, about the theme of the movie, and also oddly, two Garth Brooks songs. One is Unanswered Prayer and the other one is The Dance. And a common theme in those three things are, can you imagine if you'd actually gotten everything you'd ever wished for? Every relationship, every house, every job, everything. If you got every wish that you wished for, one might be in trouble. And kind of the overarching theme of 3,000 Years of Longing is be careful what you wish for. Be very, very careful what you wish for. And it just got me to thinking along those themes of when we, quote unquote, wish for something. I have no doubt that it comes from a deep desire. But do we really carefully dig into that? Like, so if I said, I don't know, I wished to take a trip somewhere. And conceivably, I could go on that trip and maybe I'd have a good time and maybe I wouldn't. But if I dug a little deeper and said, part of what's going on here is I'm bored out of my mind and I want to have an adventure. Or I'm not bored, I just want to go have an adventure. And deep dive into my thoughts around that and say, okay, if what the reason I really like to travel is A, B, C, D, E, F, in my own instance, it's, I like to go places sometimes I like to return, like at the beach. I always want to kind of go to my home beach because I just love it, but I will also take a beach trip somewhere else. The reason I like to go to that beach and invite the same people is because I know that's a good time. And there's a consistency and a quality there that I can kind of count on. And that's home. But if I were going to go to a foreign place, another country, another state I've never been to, a city I've never been to do a certain thing, almost invariably, I wouldn't mind going by myself, but oftentimes I like to take someone with me, and that someone is going to be a very specific kind of someone. Not necessarily the same someone, but it will also be a person who is open and friendly and adventurous and willing to try things and willing to veer off script and do something cooler than what we had planned because we didn't know this thing existed. And perhaps I'm digressing too much down the travel thing, but if when thinking about I wish I had this, or I wish I had that, or I wish I could go here, or wish I could go there, if we could sit still and give that wish some attention and dig a little deeper to my point. And if you want to travel, why? What is your goal? Is it to just see something you've never seen before? Is it to get out of a rut? That's one of the reasons I travel. If I really get into a bad rut, I kind of get in a, slumpy, grumpy place. Even a day trip will to someplace I've never been before. That's the best thing for me to do is if I'm in that kind of mood, is go someplace I've never been. That means that driving there and everything I see is going to be new and fresh and requiring all of my attention. And that usually will press a quick reset button. If it goes on for very long, I'm going to need to do something more than that. Maybe a little bit longer, or, get out of my rut for a longer period of time. But even if you said, hey, I want to own a house, or I want a pet, or, I want a new job. One of my favorite sayings is, wherever you go, there you will be. So if it's always the workplace is the problem, or your fellow employees, or your boss, and that is a recurring theme, you might want to ask yourself, what about yourself? Maybe you just need to be an independent contractor. Maybe you need to be an entrepreneur, or find a job where you're working completely remotely and by yourself to not be in a workplace. Maybe you just don't like working in a workplace. So, but that's kind of the ponder of the day, is when you say, I wish for this or I wish for that, have you dug down deep to the reasons why? If you want to own a home and you say, well, what will you do in that home that you can't do other places? Well, maybe it's because I want to paint or knock down walls, or, completely rehab it, or, there could be all different kinds of things that are drawing you to that, or maybe you see that as a way to build wealth rather than renting, or, whatever it is, even buying a vehicle. Why do you want to buy a new vehicle? Do you want a brand new vehicle? And is that a status symbol? Is that, you're tired of your car breaking, is your car that you have now breaking down and you're tired of pouring money into repairs? Is there a certain kind of car you've always wanted to own, or you used to own one and you miss it and you want it back? So, deep dive before you start making serious moves towards a wish. Because I see wishes and goals as very, very different. When I'm goal setting, I have already done this work. I have said, why do I want this, and broken down the steps to it. But wishes sometimes we'll allow ourselves to wish for things that we don't goal set for, which I think is a mistake. If you say, if something is truly your heart's desire, I want to live on a farm in the woods and grow all my own vegetables, and maybe you should seek out an opportunity to go work on a farm, for a vacation period, a couple of weeks, or when they have those places that you can go and do that. Because at the end of it, you might go, this is bullshit. I don't ever want to do this again. And this is hard work, and it's horrible, and I hate it. So maybe find a way to do wish light. Like, if you're wishing you could do something, maybe poke around there and do, get a little bit closer to that, but at the very least, for sure, dig down and try to tap into what's underneath the wish. Is it friendship? Is it lack of purpose? You're seeking some kind of purpose that is lacking. You're not. It's a form of self-care that can be, if you just say, I've literally never owned a new car. I have the money. I have the wherewithal to pay for it. It's not going to be a burden on me, and I want the darn thing. Well, then go do it. But why are you doing it? Because if a new car, you think that's going to fill a hole, that won't even last a week. That first payment rolls around, you're going to go, why did I do that? Unless you went all the way down the wish hole, and when you got to the bottom, you were standing on solid ground. Then by all means, buy the car. But I'm so interested in that, kind of this theme, because I was pondering on the movie and that cautionary tale of be very careful what you wish for. Because sometimes we say, I wish I had that, because in the back of our minds, it's your paradigm. Remember that, our worldview about that thing, perhaps this thing that we've wished for is merely a representation of this much deeper longing for something of depth. And you say, I wish I had that. And then you get it and it go, yeah, that did not satisfy. That did not satisfy at all. Because what was behind the wish was something far deeper. So that's really just, it's kind of like thank God for unanswered prayer. Is sometimes I thank goodness I didn't get everything I wished for. Man, oh man, oh man. Because some stuff I wished for and I got it and immediately wished to give it back. So fortunately, I had more than 3 that I could fall back on. But and then getting, to where I am in life now and going, there was a bunch of wishes I made that I didn't get, and am I ever glad that? It's kind of like the dance. I'm glad I didn't know how it was going to go. And that song is so deep and has so many layers. It's crazy. But I highly recommend the movie. It was very entertaining. It was beautiful. It was a feast for the eyes. So colorful and wonderfully acted. And but that deeper thing was, we say that a lot. It's part of kind of American vernacular, is to say, well, I wish this, or I wish I had that, or I wish I could go here, or wish I could do that. Maybe write your wishes down and then look deeper into that. Say, I wonder why I'm wishing for that, and what would happen. My eldest son said something so profound to me one day. I had to hang up after we talked. I was telling him about this thing that I had done, and I just kept talking about, what if they accept it, and what if this happens, and what if that happens? And he says, well, I think you better quit worrying about if they say no and start worrying about if they say yes. My head exploded. I said, I gotta go. And it immediately shifted my thinking. And ultimately, the answer was no, thank goodness, because I deep dove into what if they do say yes, because it was almost like I felt safe, that, confident that they would say no. But I also had this kind of, I don't think I had thought it out as thoroughly as I needed to until he said that. And then I did go 7 levels deeper, and I went, I changed my mind. And then other events occurred that had I done that, had they said yes, because I was factoring in other people who ended up leaving, stage left or right, doesn't matter, to do their own thing, I would have been in a pickle. I'd have been in a pickle. But I learned a lot from that, and no harm, no foul, thank goodness. And out of the mouths of my babes come truth bombs sometimes that are very profound and welcome and wonderful, and I think they're amazing. Anyway, that's Mary's Ponder of the Day. What are you wishing for, and what's underneath the wish? Have a great day.